All right, yeah. Welcome to Cold Ones. Welcome to Cold Ones where we crack them open. Today, I'm Sam and this is Colin, and today we're going to crack open design and place. So why don't you lead us off, Colin?
Sure, yeah. Well, like most of our topics, this comes from an anecdote. I was on the highway and I was driving behind a semi-truck, and there was a title that said, work with us, like to hire drivers. But the font, it looked like the letters were peeling off. And I was like, that looks kind of sloppy because the truck was dirty, the letters were peeling off. I'm like, makes sense. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be dirty. Yeah.
But no, it turns out that it was the font itself had like a, worn texture to it. Like it had the grungy. So I was like, well.
So it wasn't just the battle-worn Optimus Prime that was peeling. It was like a real, like the typography was meant to look.
It was meant to look like that.
Okay.
And it just got me thinking about how important the place where a design lives affects the perception of the design itself.
Okay.
Like I was thinking the truck was just in bad shape. Like on the back of a semi-truck is not the place for a scratched off letter design.
Because it might look like it's actually real, unless they're trying to I guess do something really like weird, like make it look like that on purpose.
I don't know.
If you're like a dirt shipper, like if you like truck dirt across, the globe, like maybe that would.
It's just spelled in dirt.
In dirt.
See, that would make sense. But it just made me think that the truck was in bad shape.
Or like I saw an interesting one one time. It was on the back of like a transit type van, and on the back window there was this. You could tell it was a sticker, but it was a sticker, and it said like, window, and they were a window washing company. They would come and wash your windows and stuff, and it was like written in scum on their window, but it was a sticker, so it was kind of like funny, like, oh look, like call this number for window washers, but it's like purposely dirty, So I thought that was kind of. So you can get away with it, but that's clearly in the correct place.
I think.
Whereas that was not,
So if that one's trying to fool you, well, I guess the other thing was too. But it's like, if it looks like that, it's the sticker, and it looks like it's written on, it's written on, it's a sticker.
Right.
But if it looked exactly the same, but it was actually written on in grime, and they would like spray their trucks with grime every day and write it on in the exact same, but then that would, be off-putting because it's like it's actually on there.
Yeah, that'd be weird.
So it's just, I'm not sure what the point is, but it's just there's a weird fine line between the design and where it is and how that makes you perceive the design.
I saw an interesting one the other day, and so my uncle is a musician, and he has this new band called like the Rusty Goat or something like that. And my mom does like a little bit of like graphic design, Photoshop work, and she made this one that's it says the Rusty Goat, and it was for this new gig he had, and it was in us like rusty typography, like all like kind of like the truck was, very like grungy and But then next to it was this like cute little goat who was like had like the little smile, that's like whoop with the little things on the end that make it look like tiny cheeks, and he was like sitting there like this with the little guitar and like was doing whatever he was doing. And it was just really weird because it was this big, scary, like, workout typography next to, like, this tiny goat. And they clearly didn't match. I was like, and then I listened to the music, and it was, like, classic just dad rock. And I was confused as to why, like, the Rusty Goat was, like, this mismatch of, like, so I told my mom. She didn't fix it. She just sent it out. But she's not professional. She's just, like, a mom, so.
She's just a mom?
She's just a mom, so that's. Could have been wide.
Well, did it work in the goat's advantage? Did it like make you notice the goat more?
It made the goat look really small, and it made the goat look extra cute compared to when I saw the goat in its own JPEG image. The goat did look much cuter next to that font because the font was so ugly. Yeah. So maybe that's what they were going for. But I was like confused. I was like, I feel like if I was going to call something a Rusty Goat, I'd want like a goat who had like a big dip in and like had like one of those like buckwheat grass things coming out and like a big straw hat, like one of huge Adam's apple, like a neck that goes like this, you know, and then it says, yeah.
Like his neck has like a joint.
Yeah, and like
Big
it's got like
bangs.
4 hairs on it, you know, and he's like, ooh, like as I figure, rusty goat.
Yeah.
This goat didn't look rusty. This goat looked plump. It looked smooth. It looked like
A
shiny.
smooth, plump goat
Yeah,
to be
it looked
your
like
friend.
not rusty. Yeah.
Well, do you think then that the problem with these types of designs is just that you notice it's a design? Like if you see something and you don't like really, you know, it's not on your radar as a design, it's just on there, like there's the picture.
Then I guess that would mean it's properly placed. I guess
Yeah.
you're right. Yeah, if it's properly placed, then you don't really notice it's a design. You just notice what it's trying to convey. Whereas if it's
Yeah.
improperly placed, you immediately recognize, well, this is a design. Someone did this, and then you start picking it apart, and then it's already lost the battle
Yeah.
within the marketing scheme of
So
what it's
maybe
trying
it's-
to do.
It's just that it's not that thing, it would be good or bad. It's
Yeah.
just either it's good or it's distracting.
Yes, yeah.
Like if it
that'd be-
takes you
that's
out
good,
of
yeah.
it, then
Just good or distracting.
yeah, like if you're watching a movie and half the time you're like immersed in the movie, but the other half you're like thinking about a plot hole or like a bad CGI movie.
Right, and it's not like a bad movie.
Yeah.
That's what they say. They say the best editing is editing you don't notice. If you don't notice the
Oh,
cut,
they say that?
yeah, they say
Is
that's
that's
like a
exactly-
thing. I learned that in school. They were like, the best cut you can make is a cut nobody notices.
Well, there you go.
So
That's
it's
like,
yeah.
yeah,
Or like the
that's
classic is, you know,
because if
the whip pan, and you go from not widescreen, just classic 16:9 to widescreen on the whip pan, you know, and it's like if you don't notice, then it's good.
oh yeah,
Like, correct. They do that a lot.
that's funny.
Different stuff.
You know,
Western
and that
things.
reminds me of a piece of viewer mail we received.
Oh,
Um,
mail
I do have
again.
This. A certain viewer, for privacy's sake, let's call him Sean M.
Okay.
That's too obvious. Let's say S. Martin. Anyways,
okay.
this viewer writes, lately I've taken note of how popular content is on YouTube and on other platforms that reviews or analyzes entertainment media, and especially in an essay form. With so many people watching this type of critics content, your average consumer's vocabulary for sound criticism has greatly expanded. Furthermore, do you think ours is a generation/culture of super articulate entertainment critics? Is the shared literacy we've developed from being hyper-attuned and meticulous at consuming media in huge volume irrelevant to real life or the world around us? Or maybe through dissecting media and being able to articulate exactly what makes it good or bad, or what it does, we become more valuable to others around us in the economy of social interactions and thoughtfulness by taking note of subtler things and being sensitive to others' feelings. If nobody could use a TV or computer anymore, would the common critic be completely useless? Because I'm just a video editor, not a doctor or mechanic. In an apocalypse with no electricity, I might be dead weight. Like that one movie. What is it? It's that post-apocalypse movie. Everybody knows it, about that one guy, but really the main character is that girl, and they're on the run in these wild, crazy vehicles, trying to survive, traveling across a barren wasteland, looking for a fabled oasis. Waterworld, starring Kevin Costner. Yeah, that's the one. From Anonymous.
That was quite the letter.
Yeah,
I mean, that kind of spells it out better than I think we could.
I don't know whether to agree or disagree.
I like Waterworld. That was a great movie.
Yeah,
That was
you see him drink his own pee.
Waterworld was a sweet
That
movie
movie is
with the
cool.
tattoo on her. Or what she got like tattoo on her back.
Yeah,
it's
and
like
that's the map,
old map.
To Dry World.
Yeah, to
right?
Dry World. With I guess the movie should have been called Dry World. I guess because like that's kind of the goal.
Yeah, that movie made me buy a boat.
That movie, yeah. I
That
mean, I
movie
didn't buy
then
a boat, but
made me sell the boat.
that movie made me get a full
Hey,
back tattoo.
You know what they say? Wait, what do they say? You know what they say. I don't know what they
If you
say.
make the water on the rag cut, then you're good.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for writing in, Anonymous, whoever that was. And thank you for joining. We will see you on the next Cold Ones where we crack them open.